All right, Shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honor goes to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, for whom I learned the truth. And much love and peace and blessings goes out to all you hopefully elect brothers that are teaching the word of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, as well as you sincere listeners out there, you brothers and sisters that are repenting, coming back to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So basically, there's going to be a lesson, and I'm gonna give it the title of "The Most High Separated the Nations," right? Because that's something that people get misconstrued in this modern day Edomite society, is that we're supposed to, as different nationalities, supposed to live side by side with one another. Because like out here in America, you got different nationalities, such as the Chinese, the Arabs, Africans, so-called white men that come over here and they live together, but yet there is quote-unquote racism and tension between the races. And the reason why that is because every race, they're inherently different, right? And they're pit against each other because of the diversity of their spirits. Like, for example, Israel is the Most High's chosen people, you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And you have a set guideline and statutes and like a certain spirit. Israel has a certain spirit about them. And that's the main reason what causes conflict between us and the other nations, right? And really it's mostly due to the curses, because that's why the nations are able to oppress us. But yet, even within that, you got nationalities that are in disagreement with each other, and that's just the natural way. That's what the Most High set up. That's the reason why there are different nations, just because the Most High wanted it to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Every nation serves its purpose. Esau, the so-called white man, is made to be the devil, and he's completely contrary and opposite to the so-called Negro in America. But you also have the other nations which are made to be servants to the Israelites. But everything is jumbled and confused in America because it has that there's this false notion of equality. But yet, it's funny that there's been this false notion of equality, but yet our people are oppressed and treated like animals. You got the other nations that get to come over here from their different countries and prosper, while the so-called Negro, who's been in America slaving for 400 plus years, and plus their brothers, the natives of the Western Hemisphere, have their land taken from them, and they had to serve slavery as well. So you see that equality shit and the nations being over here is it's a bunch of bullshit. Because at the end of the day, when you read the scriptures, the Most High, He separated the nations, man. And with all that being said, I want to go into some scriptures to back up the point that us as a people, we weren't made to be in the midst of all these nations and trying to get along with them and look at them as our equals. First of all, Israel is above the nations, and there are different nations for a reason, okay? So this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when He separated the sons of Adam. So who are the sons of Adam? The sons of Adam is every nationality on earth. Okay? The Most High separated them, and they turned to different nationalities by way of different branches of men that arose on the earth. Like you got, for example, you got the nation called Ashawar, which is the Assyrians. They come from a man named Ashawar. You have the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs. They call themselves Arabs today. They come from a man in the Bible known as Yashmai Allah, which is Ishmael. Okay, you have the nation of Cush, which is the modern day Ethiopians, like people of Djibouti and fucking Somalia, Ethiopia. Those people come from a man in the Bible known as Kawash, and that's how their nation was begotten. And you so in the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans come from Yasha Allah, which is Israel, which is the Most High's chosen people. So he separated all these people. He didn't make us to be together. He didn't just call us, okay, well, you guys are all Adama. No, from Adama, the separation came, because from the chosen line of Adama to Kanawak, which is Noah, Noah had 3 sons, and then from those sons were separated into 18 different men, which became 18 different nationalities, right? Because there are about 18 nations. So that's what the Most High set up. And that's just how it is. It says, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So of all the nations, the Most High chose Israel to be his. Okay? Israel belongs to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The rest of the nations are given to their idols. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 17, verse 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he has set a ruler over every people. See? Because there's a king over Israel, there's a king over Edom, there's a king over Japhet, or the Japhetic nations, I should say, because Japhet is just a branch of different nations. And they all have different kings and so forth. But it says in the division of the nations. So the nations were meant to come together. They were made to have their own jurisdictions and rulership in their own land. So what? So they can prosper. So Israel has their land and their portion to offer up sacrifices to the Most High, to ultimately be the kings of the earth, the top rulers. Then you have the other nations. They were set up as well to have land and resources, but in the kingdom of heaven, and those resources will be paid to the Israelites. They'll have to pay a tax to us. But for the first 1,000 years of our kingdom, after America goes down, these other nations, such as, I'm gonna just call them by their modern terms, the Hawaiians and so-called white men, Africans, they're gonna be in slavery for 1,000 years with no land ownership rights. They're gonna work every day. They're gonna build our houses and our farms and our barns and our castles and everything like that. And then after 1,000 years, their contract, the slavery will be up, and they'll be able to own their own lands again and everything like that. But of all nations, the so-called white man, he's going to be destroyed. After the slavery is up for the nations, the so-called white man, we taking his ass and burning his ass up because he's the devil. Okay? So this is, matter of fact, I'm going to get that. Salakia, man. Let's go to Blue Letter real quick. I'll go to my Blue Letter app. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 18. It says, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. So this is representative of after the heathens go into captivity, and then their kings will be able to reign in their own land. Just like the Most High said, he divided the nations and set over them a ruler. Those rulers will be set up once again. It says, but thou art cast out out of thy grave like an abominable branch. So when these nations are in their graves, that represents them being in captivity. Okay? It says, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down into the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. So just like a garment that has been covered in filth is going to be cast out and destroyed. Because it said the kings of the nations are going to sit in their glory. You see what I'm saying? But Esau, he's going to be destroyed. He's not going to have that same right. Okay? Let's see. So let's go back to the scriptures I have lined up. So go to Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? She went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. So this is a very, somewhat of a, how can I put this? Of a uncommon occurrence. It's an anomaly because usually when a woman has 2 children by the same man, those men are of that father's nationality, but they were separated. One of those brothers would be the sons of God, Israel, and the other one would be the sons of the devil, Esau. Okay? It says, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. See? And the elder was Esau. But the point is that these 2 nations were separated. The Most High deals with separation for a reason, because there's a diversity in these different nationalities. They have their own customs, their own traditions, and so forth. You know? And I want to see, because I had another preset, man, dealing with the the nationalities and everything like that. Hold on real quick. Okay. This is a book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 33, verse 10. It says, and all men are formed from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth. And much knowledge the Lord hath divided them. You see? So in knowledge, the Yahweh Shem Shai did this. Because every nation have served this purpose throughout history. Every nation was given a certain period of time for them to rule, for them to influence the culture, for them to bring about certain inventions and events that would have happened throughout history. You see, the Most High, he does what he does for a reason. It says it made their ways diverse. Some of them, like you got certain particular nations that are good at one thing and other nations that are bad at the same thing. So these uses of the nations are going to come into play when the kingdom of heaven is in effect. You know what I'm saying? Brothers might have a multitude of certain, let's just say certain, let's say you got certain Moabites for garment making because they're good at that certain particular talent. You see what I'm saying? So some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified and set near himself. See, and those that he sanctified and set near himself is the children of Israel. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. So those that are cursed are basically the Edomites. And also Israel's cursed for a particular point in time for disobedience. But the other nations in general are under a curse from the Most High because they'll never be able to be in that exalted spirit before the Most High. They'll always be on a second tier compared to the nation of Israel. And especially when their slavery hits, because you read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7, it says all these curses shall the Most High put upon thy enemy. You see that? So for them 1,000 years, man, these nations are going to be under the curses. You know, just like Israel had to face those curses, these nations are going to have to face the curses. So I might as well get this too. Salak, dealing with these nationalities trying to come together, because you know you got the whole concept of the New World Order. We have Esau trying to gather all the nations to himself. Most High ain't with that. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. I'm reading from verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And this is talking about Esau, these devils that call themselves white people. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. So he's listing his negative traits. He's proud, he transgressed by wine, he can't keep at home. You know what I'm saying? He covets everything that he sees. He's like death, but it says also, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So that's another transgression of Esau, the fact that he heaps all nations to himself. That's confusion. Okay? And the Most High ain't with that. Okay? So this is another scenario which shows you the Most High ain't with the nations coming together and so forth. This is Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. It says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And this is during the time after the flood, in the times of Noah, when the men began to multiply again in the earth. So they all came to one language, which was Hebrew. They spoke Ibarya, Lashon Kodash. It says, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and dwelt there. So basically they went from Mount Ararat, which is Turkey, they went farther east into the land of between the Euphrates and Tigris River. That's where they settled at. That's where majority of the bulk of, Noah's descendants were living at. It says, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go, let us build up a city and tower to whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So they was in rebellion to the Most High, because look, these nations were just living right before the flood, and they understood the flood happened, but they were in rebellion all over again. So they don't want to be forgotten, just like when the flood happened. And this proves how wicked they were even living at this time, because the scriptures tell you the expectation of the wicked is wrath. So if you're doing right by the Most High, you don't have to worry about being scattered upon the face of the earth. The Most High scatters you when you're wicked. Look at Israel. Israel was scattered abroad. Look, you see that? You see what I'm saying? Israel was scattered abroad because of their wickedness. We weren't scattered for doing righteousness. It says, but these nations, they're so wicked, they actually thought to be cemented in that wickedness. So they wanted to build themselves a tower. So you got to read into it. You see what I'm saying? It says, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. So the people was one. The Most High was not with that. Okay? It says, for now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. And with their imaginations were wickedness. They were worshiping idols. It's not as if they would be so powerful as if to take out the Most High. No, it's just the simple fact that whatever wickedness they pondered on while they were together, they did it. It says, let us go down, and therefore confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth, you see. So then that's when men began to spread out, and they got to go into these different lots, which was for their heritages. You know, that's when the Canaanites went down to the land of Canaan. You know, the Montezarium, which is the what you would call the Egyptians, went into Egypt, and so on and so forth. So this just proves that the Most High, he's with the division of the nations and not the nations being in unity. Because when the nations are in unity, the prime example is what's happening on the earth right now. You got a bunch of homosexuality, nothing but wickedness, okay? Idol worship, nothing but wickedness. So the thing is, the Most High is going to have to divide the nations again and have them separated with Israel on top, so Israel can institute the laws, the statutes, and commandments of the Most High once again. So with that, all praise goes to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Lord's will. This is edifying to you brothers that watch, and Shalom.